All right, welcome to Sport Talk on Enterprise TV, where we give you all the latest from what is happening in the world of sports. On today's menu, we will be talking about the review of that match that went down in South Africa between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and, of course, the Bafana of South Africa. And, of course, we'll be looking at the chances of the Super Eagles of Nigeria making it to the World Cup 2026. On that note, I say if you are not joining us for the first time, please do well to follow us across all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. My name is John Olashikami. Join me and let's ride together. Joining me virtually today is Daniel Osege, making a return back to Sport Talk. Daniel, welcome to Sport Talk. Daniel,
good morning. Good day. Good day. John, feels good to be with you yet again. I mean, it's another weekend.
I'm very sure you are excited. Leagues are back, talking about the English Premier League, La Liga, and of course, Italian Serie A. All right, go ahead, Daniel. I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's another weekend upon us. You know how it is for sport lovers. Lots of excitement, lots of action. If you're a Super Eagles fan, just like you've taken a cue on that, it's rather unfortunate. But I mean, some of you are getting the knowledge later than some of us have gotten the memo. Okay, but as always, a loaded package, and I'm always glad to be with you.
All right, definitely, you know how we do it. We always start with a local story because charity begins at home. We'll be starting with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. A former Super Eagles captain, John Obi Mikel, as far as football is concerned, he won everything all as far as football is concerned, from the Nations Cup, I mean, except World Cup. Of course, the UEFA Champions League, everything that needed to be won during his playing period, he did everything. And of course, I said the board of the Nigerian Football Federation should resign if the country fails to qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Daniel, do you think that's the best way to go? That all the NFF board should resign? You know, if we definitely fail to play in the 2026 World Cup. Don't also forget that we didn't go to Qatar 2022, and of course, it will definitely be a back-to-back for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Do you agree with John Obi Mikel?
So to be honest, it's not something that's strange in football. We've seen it in time past where boards get dissolved. Some tender their resignation due to disappointment in their performances, but you know that's not strange in Senna climes, but it's strange in Africa. Okay, in other words, that's not going to happen in Nigeria.
Don't talk about.
That's not going to happen. I mean, Mikel played for the vast majority of his career in Europe.
Yes, of course.
Spent over a decade at Chelsea and all of that, so he understands how how it's being done over there. But I mean, he's Nigerian, all right. He has to be brought back to earth and remember how things have been done here. Okay, he doesn't live in Nigeria, so maybe that's why all of this is getting to him. But trust me, that's not going to happen. And like I said earlier during the intro, I mean, some of us knew over a year ago that the Super Eagles won't be at the World Cup. So people are still hopeful that the Super Eagles can still finish as runners up or whatever and all of that. Quick this delicious. We're not going to be at the World Cup in 2026. Let's hope that we can have a beautiful AFCON at the end of the year.
All right, still talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Now let's go back to the game between the Super Eagles of Nigeria versus Bafana of South Africa. A lot of people complained about the pitch, that it is one of those antics, that most especially not the southern part of Africa. We all know the northern part. I mean, the North Africans with all their antics, they will not allow you to feel, they will not let you feel comfortable. And somebody said, a lot of people, not even one person, a lot of people said, out of all the good stadium, I mean the good stadia in South Africa, how come that they took Nigeria to that part? I mean, to that same stadium in Bloemfontein? Do you agree that the stadium also contributed to the failure of the Super Eagles of Nigeria?
The Super Eagles always have a stadium complaint. It's a Nigerian thing, and it's not like we have the best of stadium stadia here in Nigeria. This is a country that we only have one stadium that is has the license
that's
to host
Godswill Akpabio.
FIFA competitions. We have 36 states and the FCT. Over 40 stadiums in Nigeria, or stadia, if you want to say, and only one could be approved for FIFA competitions.
That's
And
serious.
such a nation has the country has no shame to point accusing fingers at another country who has multiple stadiums approved for such matches. I mean, let us quit all these excuses. The South Africans have gotten, they've conquered that mental block, that mental fear of facing the Super Eagles long time ago. We both know that it has always been difficult to defeat this South African side for the past 10 years. Gone are the days where we used to steamroll them and all of that.
Yes.
But that's in the past. They are now at par with the Super Eagles when it comes to matching us. I mean, we played at the AFCON just over a year and a half ago. The match had to go into extra time. Have you forgotten? We played out a 1-0 draw.
Yes, of course.
So more often than not, with these games have ended in draws. Okay, was the pitch bad in Cote d'Ivoire? So please let's
and I must say that Nigeria, I mean the Super Eagles of Nigeria were just lucky on the night. Talking about that semi-final game in Cote d'Ivoire.
So my point is, let's quit all these excuses. Take us to a better pitch. You can't give what you don't have. These players are they're not the best legs we've had ever. So this is what they can give, and let's accept it the way it is, or we look for better legs going forward.
All right, Daniel. Mathematically, we can still make it to 2026 FIFA World Cup. That is if at the end of the day, FIFA decide, to deduct 3 points from South Africa. They will go back to 14. Then Benin Republic will be on 14. We are on 11. Do you think if that decision is being made, we will definitely make it to the World Cup? Can we win the remaining 2 games?
I cannot say categorically that we can win our remaining 2 games, and that's because we played 8 games in this group already, and we'll only be able to win 2. So do your math. That means we've won just quarter of our games, right? It also means that in the last just concluded FIFA window, we won 1 game and drew 1. The previous one we had won 1 game and drawn 1.
Yes, of course.
If you take a look at the table, so that means in our last 4 games we've won 2 and drawn 2. But if you look at the table, we've won 2 games, drawn 5 games, and lost 1. What that tells you is that in our first 4 games, we couldn't win any game. We drew 3 games and lost 1. That all of this doesn't point into the direction of confidence. It doesn't point to the direction of hope. I still don't understand why Nigerians have failed to give up on this quest for this World Cup. Like I said, from the beginning, when we couldn't win a game in the first 4 games, I had already written the Super Eagles off. Why Nigerians keep hoping, you understand that we could still probably, finish as group leaders or runners up or whatever. Just don't forget, we're not even on top of the table. We're not second place. And even if we finish in second place, we have 9 groups. 4 best runners up will go in for the playoffs. We have 7 groups that have their runners up better than
as we speak. On that list, we are number 8.
The point five of the Super Eagles is only better than 1 of the 9 groups.
We are number 8. That's serious.
You understand? So what's the guarantee that we'll make that top 4? If we finally make the top 4, what's the guarantee that we'll win the playoffs and go and represent Africa to go and play playoffs against 4 other continents? Please, let's just stop this delusion. Let's stop this hallucination. Let's just accept our fate. It's a terrible campaign. It's been a terrible campaign, and that's what it is. There's no coming back from this. Let's stay put in Nigeria.
This is serious. We need to go back to our drawing board as well. We should also prepare for 2030 World Cup, because it's looking like we are not definitely going to make it to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Lastly, before we leave the Super Eagles of Nigeria, story, let's talk about what NFF did to Serie A Stars. What are your thoughts on that? You saw what they put out there, and a lot of fans and of course footballers also come out to criticize NFF for what they did to Serie A Stars.
I think that's it's a very shameful act from the NFL. I mean, I can understand if after the game against South Africa, the players, the coaches, and maybe some of the representatives of the NFF sit together, review the World Cup qualifiers, take a reflection about what went wrong during the qualifiers. I can take that. If they bring up that kind of comment in such in such a meeting, I can accept that because it's in-house. You understand? Everybody's not happy. Let's just point it, not because of we want to necessarily point accusing fingers, but because we want to find where the problem lies so that we can get a solution, going forward. But to put that out for public consumption, that's ridiculous. That's shameful. I mean, you can't throw someone under the bus. This is a player that's not your first choice striker. He's actually your second choice striker. There's a reason why he's a third choice striker for the Super
So
Eagles.
of course,
We all know that the first choice striker is Victor Osimhen. Second choice striker is Victor Boniface. It's because of these two players were not available for selection. That's why he got the nod to start. Let's not also forget that this is a player that in the previous game when we won before South Africa, he was subbed on when Victor Osimhen got injured.
yes.
And this same player was substituted off.
Again in that same match.
He wasn't delivering. He wasn't delivering. Now, you now put the onus on him to start in the subsequent game, in the more difficult game, and you don't take the blame. The coach doesn't take the blame for making him the selection. We had another striker in Tolu Arokodare who scored the winning goal in the previous game. He wasn't given the nod. We understand that it could be as a case of seniority in the national team. It could be a case of it wasn't good enough to be the first choice to come on in the previous game. Why doesn't the manager or the coach, as the case may be, take the fall for selecting him? That's ridiculous. I mean, the NFF should be ashamed of themselves. I don't know why the whoever sanctioned that statement to be put out is still in job. I still don't know why that person is still in job.
All right, thank you for that one, Daniel Oshegel from the Super Eagles World Cup qualifiers saga. All right, away from that, let's move straight to NPFL, where newly promoted side Kun Khalifat FC president and CEO Mikel has scored for.
It's sports is science at the end of the day, and sports is also emotion. Sports is also for the people. It's not democracy, but it's for the people, by the people, and whatever you want to call it. Okay, but in honesty, I think there has to be a reason why teams win more games at home than away from home. It's simple. They have more of the spectators in their corner when they play at home, as against when they play away from home. So that answers the question really. Fans do play football. They have the role to play.
Understand. But what are the chances of, Kun Khalifat, staying in the NPFL, despite the fact that they started really slow, staying in the NPFL next season?
When teams get newly promoted, it's expected that in certain climes or in leagues where we have, say, 3 teams get promoted, it's always expected that at least 2 of them will go back. In Nigeria, where we have 4 get promotion, it's expected that 2 or 3 will go back. So Kun Khalifat definitely looks like one of those 2 or 3 candidates set to go back, because Warri Wolves have started like a house on fire. They won their first home game, they won their first away game, and only lost narrowly to reigning champions Remo Stars by a slim goal margin away from home on Sunday, right? So what that tells you is that Warri Wolves looks like, from its early days, but they look like they are willing to stay. Let's not forget, they're a traditional team in the NPFL. It's just rather unfortunate to find them, get relegated and struggling for promotion. So Kun Khalifat definitely one of the favorites to go down this season. But it's early days, like I said. It's just 3 games into the season. We've got 35 games for them to sort out their future. Once they can do that, they're good to go. But look, from where I stand, they look like a team that's doomed for relegation. Let's not forget they have financial challenges as well. And if these players don't get motivated financially, it's going to have an effect on their performances.
versus Wiki Torres, Kun Khalifat versus Kanemi, Bayelsa United versus Enyimba, Kano Pillars versus Enugu Rangers. Kano Pillars has been struggling, and of course, the good news is that Ahmed Musa is back for Kano Pillars. Warriors versus Kwara United. Another big game this weekend is Plateau United playing Remo Stars. Do you think Remo Stars, they've done it before? Last season, they did it more than 4 or 5 times, winning away from home. And of course, they'll be on the road again this weekend. Do you see them getting a result in that game between Plateau United and, Remo Stars?
Like rightfully said, if there's one team that's tried playing away from home, had a lot of joy playing away from home last year, it was Remo Stars. And that was one of the major reasons why they could secure victory in the NPFL last season. However, you understand this weekend it's not going to be easy. Trust me, because look at the fact that Remo Stars, just like you rightfully mentioned, traveled to Plateau United. Plateau United definitely, a team that is known for competition, stiff competition, always trying to, be up there in the Premier League. But they've not started the season very well, right? It's no secret that they've lost all the games this season. As a matter of fact, they are bottom of the table. Okay, their only home game so far this season was against Casina United, and they lost by 2-1. Very, 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 very disappointing game. If you tell me, if you ask me rather. So I think with that being said, Remo Stars know that they can nick something from this. It's not like Casina United that they lost to. Have been in the greatest of form. That they are there for taking. I think Remo Stars can do well to try to get at least a point from that game.
All right, of course. The last match that will definitely go down at this weekend, 14 September 2025, is between Ikorodu City versus Barrow. We've not been seeing that light in Ikorodu City this season. Away from the local football, let's move straight to foreign football. Of course, we'll be definitely starting with the English Premier League. Arsenal return to Premier League action after the international break as they host Nottingham Forest. Arsenal were beaten by title rivals, talking about Liverpool last time out. So we'll be keen to get back on the winning trail to avoid falling further behind the reigning champions, even at this early stage of the season. Let's talk about Arsenal against Nottingham Forest. It's going to be an early kickoff coming up on Saturday, 13 September 2025, and big blow for the newly the appointed coach of Nottingham Forest. Talking about Anga Postecoglou as Olaino will definitely be out for at least 3 months. Do you think it's going to be a coach bounce for Nottingham Forest, or it will definitely be another worst season for the man called Postecoglou?
So the truth is, this has got an Arsenal victory written all over it. Let's not forget that Arsenal have won all their last 6 home games against Nottingham Forest, by an aggregate of 19-2. And the Gunners are unbeaten in 14 games on home soil against Forest. All right, I'm talking about since March 1989. Okay, so we're looking at do your maths, that's about 26.5 years and all of that. So it's looking as an Arsenal victory written all over it. Trust me. Nottingham Forest have also lost 5 of their last 11 Premier League matches. Because we know the kind of form that they were in at the beginning of the season, but they tailed off at some point. And that's the reason why their form isn't looking so great. And so for that reason, I think we'll be looking at an Arsenal victory. Let's not forget in their last game, the league, that subsequently led to the sacking of Nuno Espirito Santo, they lost to a very terrible West Ham team by 3-0. This is a West Ham team that, in spite of that 3-0 victory, their goals difference in the Premier League is still -4.
Hey, come
Owing
on.
to the fact that
Uh,
they
all,
lost,
all thanks to
you
Chelsea
know,
Football Club. But it's okay. It's all right.
yeah,
Go ahead.
so I think as Arsenal know that if they do not win this game, they might it can appear early, but we've seen Liverpool do this over time. Once they start winning games from the beginning of the season, in the first 15 games of the season, if they avoid not more than one defeat, the league is theirs. Especially because City are 6 points behind. So if Arsenal drop points this weekend, let's assume that they pick up 1 point, and Liverpool win against Burnley, which is expected, 5 points between them, probably 6 points between them and City. It's bye-bye to the title for Arsenal. So they definitely know that they have to win this game, and I believe they're going to win this game also.
All right, let's take a look at other fixtures. Bournemouth versus Brighton, Newcastle United versus Wolverhampton Wanderers, Everton versus Aston Villa, Crystal Palace with Old Sunderland, Fulham versus Leeds United, West Ham versus Tottenham Hotspur, Brentford versus Chelsea Football Club, Burnley versus Liverpool, and of course, the biggest game this weekend will be Manchester City versus Manchester United. Pep Guardiola has been, Manchester City has not been in good form, and of course, United are also struggling. Do you think United can go to Etihad and get a result? Daniel, can you hear me? It seems Daniel's network is not cooperating. We're only talking about, the Manchester derby, the match between Manchester City and, of course, Manchester United. City, Pep Guardiola-led side has been struggling for the past few weeks now. And, of course, they'll be playing another struggling Manchester United under the lead of the man called Ruben Amorim. It is no longer a news. United went to Etihad last season, all thanks to Amad Diallo's late goal, and of course we did go there this weekend to also get a result. Only time we tell. Daniel, are you with us? Of course, he will definitely join us along the line. Away from English Premier League, let's move straight to Spanish La Liga. Real Madrid's return to La Liga action after the international break is said to be anything but straightforward. Manager Xabi Alonso will be forced to make several tough decisions as his side prepare for their match against Real Sociedad on Saturday, 13 September 2025. It is no longer a news that Real Madrid they've played 3 games so far, won 3 games. They are dancing lonely at the top of the log table. 3 games, 3 wins for Real Madrid, 9 points. They are just in fact, they've been doing wonderfully well under Xabi Alonso. Xabi Alonso won the manager of the month. What a great start for the young man all the way from Leverkusen to Real Madrid. He's been doing wonderfully well with Real Madrid. And of course, Kylian Mbappe has been, he has started from where he stopped last season, scoring for Real Madrid back to back. Daniel, are you with us? Are you back?
Yes, I am.
All right, I was talking about, La Liga, how, Xabi Alonso has revived Real Madrid. 3 games, 3 wins, 9 points, dancing lonely at the top on top of the Spanish La Liga. There is no way we won't talk about Kylian Mbappe. He has been on fire. And of course, there's going to be a mixed feelings for Real Madrid this weekend because Federico Valverde and, of course, the young man from Argentina. I don't think maybe Alonso will definitely be able to feed them this weekend because of the international break.
Just like you said, Real Madrid have they've shown that they were really hot from the disappointment of last season. Went trophyless last season, despite the signing of a marquee player in Kylian Mbappe, who did very well for himself. I think he scored about 42 goals in all competitions for the team last season, and he has not his fire has not been quenched. We know Real Sociedad to be a team that do not score very often. But Real Madrid have won 12 of the last 21 matches they have played at the Anoeta. Talking about the home ground of Real Sociedad in the La Liga. That's in this century. and they've lost 6 of them and drawn 3. What that means is that they've become the away team with the most victories, at the San Sebastian site ground in the competition since then. You expect that they won't be losing to tomorrow. Okay. I think Kylian Mbappe, as like you rightfully said, still waxing strong enough. And when you have an Mbappe, a player who can score for fun, a player who is destined to be the all-time goal scorer in the history of the French national team, barely 5 goals behind the Olivier Giroud's record. I think he's going to get a goal in this game or two. And I think after saying that, having said that, rather, I think I can't see beyond the Real Madrid victory, or maybe for the punters in the house, they keep it safe at a Real Madrid win or draw, or Sociedad not to score more than 1 goal in this game.
Real Sociedad versus Real Madrid, Athletic Club versus Alaves, Atletico Madrid versus Villarreal, Celta Vigo we play Girona, and of course Barcelona, you expect them to take this one on paper against Valencia, Levante versus Real Betis. Alright, away from La Liga, let's move straight to Italy. Inter Milan and manager Christian Chivu are already under scrutiny as Serie A enters match day 3 with a crunch clash away to Juventus, Liman, where they will aim to avoid losing further ground at the top of the standings. Juventus, they've started really well this season. Kenan Yildiz has been one of the best player. One of the best young player in the world as we speak. He also bagged the player of the month in Italian Serie A in the month of August. And of course, this weekend they will be hosting Inter Milan. It's going to be a clash of the Titans. And of course, you expect Inter Milan to at least take something at the Allianz Stadium. What are your thoughts on Inter Milan away to Juventus this weekend?
To be honest, for the past, say 3, 4, 5 years, Inter Milan have had the strongest, squad in Italy. But some way, somehow, they always find it difficult to play against Juventus. They've only been able to win one of their last 6 Serie A matches against Juve. Juventus have won 3. They've won 1, like I said, and 2 have ended in draws. And that single victory was a 1-0 victory February last year. You understand? And it was as a result of Federico Gatti's own goal. So overall, the Bianconeri have defeated the Nerazzurris the most times in the competition. Obviously, you know that. So I think what that means is that Juventus have an edge in this competition. And we have to understand that they've also started this season, in a very commanding fashion. Juve have failed to win the league for 5 years now. Napoli have won 2 of the last 5. Inter have won 2 of the last 5. Milan have won 1 as well. So it's been 5 years without the title, and it looks like they're going, they're mounting an assault for the title this time around. You could see that they've secured all maximum points so far this season. Inter Milan don't look like themselves anymore. Winning 1 and losing 1. So having said that, I think this match looks like a match destined for a draw. Or if there has to be a winner, Juventus look like the most likely of them.
Versus Napoli, Roma we host Torino, Atalanta versus Lecce, AC Milan versus Bologna, Sassuolo versus Lazio, and of course Pisa versus Udinese. That is how much we can take on sports on Enterprise TV 7. If you are here to follow us across all social media, endeavor to do that. We are at Enterprise TV 7 across all social media. Visit our website at www.enterprisetv.com, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Daniel Osegi has been great on the show today. Daniel?
Thank you for having me. It's always a fun ride with you.
All right, my name remains John.
For having me, it's always a fun ride with you. Many thanks to you.
All right, Daniel, my name remains John Olashkomi. See you next time.